Today on Live on Air with Steven Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio, we've got Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia is one of Bravo's Real Housewives of Atlanta consecutively for the past 11 years. She's currently starring in Lifetime's original film, Cruel Instruction, and works as a fill-in co-host on The Real and E! Daily Pop. Today at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, power985.com.
Hey, what's up? My name's Grant Kanoki. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and artist, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
Hey, everybody. This is Nick Mayhew, three-time gold medalist and three-time world record holder, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5. You're listening to Power 98.5, powered by United Angels Dream, your number one resource for public relations, entertainment, and multimedia. Contact them today at unitedangelsdream.com.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Steven Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Steven Cuoco.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Steven Cuoco. You are live on air with Steven Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. It's a great morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The birds are chirping. We're going to be getting into 70, 80 degrees this week. What else can I say? So my good friend, Miss Cynthia Bailey Hill, she's on the East Coast. We're going to find out what the weather is like out there, but I'm sure we're both and hopefully not dealing with any snow. I know in the outskirts of Nevada, there's a lot of still snow on the mountains and everything, but we're going to find out from her what's going on, what the weather is like, how she's feeling, how she's doing. We're very happy not to be doing video today, only because we both don't have to worry about getting too ready. We can just be relaxed, have our coffee, have our Danish, whatever it is that makes us feel really good in the morning. And I know I did some meditation before this interview. That's what it's all about. So without further ado, we've got Cynthia. She considers herself the greatest, or what would be the greatest accomplishment as a fashion model, was being photographed by photographer Annie Leibovitz for Vanity Fair magazine alongside Iman, Beverly Johnson, Naomi Campbell, and Tyra Banks. Personally, her greatest accomplishment is her daughter, Noelle Ford Robinson. Cynthia credits her strong will and strong spiritual background for her success. She believes in hard work, ambition, love, and positive affirmation. Everyone has a destiny. With faith in yourself and faith in God, you can accomplish anything. When you send that energy out to the universe, it has to come back to you. And I am in full agreement with you, Cynthia. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Steven.
What's your morning like so far? I mean, no snow, no winter, cold, 30 degrees?
Well, I'm actually back on the West Coast. I was just in New York, but I flew back. So I'm in Cali. So it's beautiful here today.
Okay, good. So we've got the same weather. No allergy issues going on or nothing?
No, so far so good. So far, my husband was struggling a little bit. He struggles with his allergies, but no, I'm good.
You've got a show or an interview coming up with him soon, right?
Yes. Well, actually, I just did it, and it was, I don't know if he's going to want to interview me again. You know, he did the section that was like these rapid fire questions, and it was like, it was called Keeping It Real with Mike Hill. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know how real he really wanted to keep it. So I just kept it all the way real. And, you know, he asked me a question and I gave him a real answer. And I think he was very surprised.
You've got a lot coming up. We're going to get to what I find is to co-star next to Catherine Manheim. I am a true and huge ally of hers. I believe that she is So much more than what we may see in a public eye. I don't hear much about her anymore, but this woman is talented. For you to have this movie, Cruel Instruction, it's going to air Saturday, March 12th, 8 Pacific, 7 Central on Lifetime. Mm-hmm. What was this like, this experience to do this film with Cameron Manheim?
Well, first and foremost, I agree with you when it comes to Cameron. I was completely a fan of hers. I still am a fan of hers. I was starstruck. I was like everything. I could not wait to get on set with her. And when I tell you, Steven, her spirit is so beautiful. She is such a humble, sweet woman, so talented, has every reason to be a diva and all these different things. And she basically embraced the entire cast. She made it a point to, talk to me, introduce herself to me. And turns out she's a fan of, she knew exactly who I was. And I was like, wait, you're a fan of mine? I'm a fan of yours. So she was very giving. She was very giving. And for someone who was fairly new to the acting world, that meant the world to me, because I really wanted to not only do an amazing job in my role, I really wanted to make the other actors that I was working with, such as Cameron, feel like I deserve to be there, that I'm ready to do the work, and I respect the game. So the fact that, she kind of, as soon as she met me, she was like, I love you. I was like, I love you. And I was like, that just gave me that extra boost to do the best that I could do and just be taken seriously as a new actress.
What I really appreciate, and we're both East Coast people, is that, but you're not originally from New York, right?
I grew up in Alabama. Yep. And I moved to New York when I was 18 years old.
You still have a vibe of an East Coast woman.
Yeah. That New York never leaves you.
It doesn't.
Honestly, I was raised in Alabama, but I always say I grew up in New York. I moved there when I was 18. My real life started in New York City. I had never been exposed to anything until I moved to New York. I had never been to, a real nightclub. I'd never just even been around so much diversity in my life. It was one of my first times on an airplane going to New York. Everything was like a big first for me. So New York, I lived there for many, many years. New York has always been very good to me. I still have my 917 number. So you just locked it in, I believe. So
yes, I did.
Atlanta and LA is home now, but New York will always have my heart.
What I really appreciate, when it comes to you, Cynthia, is I've been watching, for obvious reasons, and it is my favorite show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're both in the entertainment industry. We understand that editing is everything. Perception is everything. What I really am honored about in this moment with you is you're a Pisces. Your element is water.
Yes.
And has been nothing. And I'm an Aries, very Jersey, very East Coast. I will be absolutely honest. And with this, I really believe that at times, and nothing to Bravo or casting, is that you yourself are underestimated. And that's what I really felt with the energy when I looked at the poster to the new film that's going to be coming out March 12th, is both you and Cameron both share in that identification of being not only somewhat misunderstood depending on the circumstance, but underestimated. And I truly believe that you have, and I'm saying this with my heart, because like I said, I meditated and prayed this morning before coming on live with you, is there is so much more that God has for you. And I mean in ways, whether you want to do film, you've done TV, but you are nowhere near done if you truly believe that you are not done in your life.
Yeah, the best is yet to come. And I so appreciate you sharing that with me, because it's exactly right. In terms of taking it back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, I think, to be honest with you, Stephen, I am underestimated when it comes to the fans and the show. I think Bravo and NBC has always understood my power, and they've always treated me as such. I've always been the go-to for all of the commercials that they do, anything that ever came up where they wanted a representation for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was always one of the first to get that phone call. There's so many things I did outside of Housewives with the network. I left Real Housewives in a great position with the network. I have a great relationship with Andy Cohen. I have a great relationship with Sherry Levine. All of my executives, great relationship with Truly Original. So I'm like one of those characters. I'm a workhorse, number one. I have a great work ethic, number two. I understand that this is a job. Number three, I've always tried to leverage and use the platform. And I don't even know what number I'm on now, but whatever number I'm at now, for
number
me,
4.
Number 4. Thank you. For me, my rule, I have one rule. If I won't do it in real life, I won't do it on the show. I feel like I gave my authentic self. I think I never sold my soul. Again, if I wouldn't do it off camera, I wouldn't do it on camera. And, one of the reasons why I know that the network has always valued me, which always meant the world to me, is the fact that, for 11 consecutive years, like I always got my contract. I always came back. I made a lot of money on the show, and I always knew that they appreciated my personal story because I always gave it. I gave literally like a marriage, a divorce. I gave everything. I gave my child coming out as fluid. I gave everything that was really happening in my life. And when it comes to reality TV and when it comes to the network's position for the show, they honestly feel like they can get anybody to come on and fight with each other and argue with each other. But everyone does not have great personal story. Everyone doesn't have a personal story that fans even really care about. So personal story, it's hard to find someone that really has real things going on in their life that they're willing to share with the world. Anybody, they can cast anybody to come over and argue and get into it with people. That's easy. And I know that they would agree with me. So I gave until I had nothing else to give. And that is why after 11 amazing, incredible, unforgettable years, I decided it was time for me to move on, because true to what you just said, I know that the best is really truly is yet to come for me. And I honestly think as big as the Real Housewives of Atlanta is, and how and even with all the exposure that I got from being a consistent cast member, a consistent peach holder for 11 years, that I don't believe in my heart is what I'm going to even be known for. I think the biggest thing that's going to happen for Cynthia Bailey Hill has not even happened yet. And it's so exciting to be able to walk toward whatever God has for me, just in terms of whatever this next thing is. But I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And I think it's going to be something that is going to be great for me, and it's going to be great for everyone else, because I really want this next chapter to be about me fulfilling my purpose, being happy, having peace, but also being in a position to help people. If I could find a job where I could make money and it actually help people as well, that would be amazing.
What I hear and what I feel is, as you were sharing, Cynthia, something in the music industry, whether it's doing a show, here's what it is. You are a Pisces, you are a strong woman, you're from Alabama, but at heart, in spirit, a New York woman. Consider something in music or getting into, whether it's television, mentorship, you've got a background in fashion, instead of maybe thinking fashion show, why not do something, a show to put on for musicians? Because the number one thing that has, been hit is the music industry, and musicians are so underrated, so grossly underpaid. I I don't know. I'm looking at this one photo of you, and as I like to just have a series of photos on Google in front of me just to get that intuitive vibe and that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Cynthia Bailey, and I'm going to add Hill now, defends fellow model Tyra Banks. And as I'm looking at that photo, I see more than just a judge, more than an influencer. I see, really an angelic, confidant that is very different, that musicians don't have in this world, from someone who understands everything from a bigger perspective like you. So whether if you could ever get on, NBC The Voice, or if Netflix is starting a new show, something in the music industry, these musicians need someone like you as an advisor and a mentor.
Oh, thank you. You know what? Thank you so much. I never really thought about music because that's not really my lane per se, but it still is entertainment. It still is inspiration. So I received that, Stephen. That's you just actually, I just wrote that down actually on my notepad. That's on my other list of things that, I would be open to. And that's the great thing about this next chapter. I'm open to whatever God has for me. I really, really, truly am. And, I just recently celebrated my 55th birthday in the Big Brother house, actually.
Happy birthday.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much. And one of the things that I always want to make sure people know and understand is you're never too old to dream, and you're never too old to be happy, and you're never too old to have peace. And one of the reasons why I am so vocal about, hey, I'm a woman in my 50s, I'm a woman of a certain age. I purposely and intentionally put that out there because I know that I am in an industry that really caters, really more to younger, the younger generation. And when you hit 50, a lot of people think that, oh, well, that part of your life is like you're old, and that you're basically old. And I feel more young and alive and at peace than I ever did in my 20s and 30s. So I just want to just always kind of put that out there to people. I know you didn't really ask me about the age thing, but that's just something that I always want to try to get in whenever I, speak to someone. And I think I get very spiritual vibes from you. So I feel like, something like that would resonate with you because it's true. And it's a blessing to get old. Like a lot of people don't live to see 55. So I don't take it for granted, and I'm living every day to the fullest, and I'm open to anything and everything that God has for me.
Has it gotten better as you've advanced in your experience in your human life? Has it gotten better now at the age of 55 than you could have ever expected before, Cynthia?
Unbelievable. Because now I have the lessons, the life lessons. I've gone through, I've made the mistakes. I've been, I've lived life. I've lived so much of my life. And this next chapter is truly, truly about me really making a real impact on the world and really being completely comfortable with who I am and never compromising my peace, my joy for anyone at this point. I think, I remember my grandmother, God rest her soul, she lived to be almost 100 years old. And, as you get older, you can be unapologetically you. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. And that is the era of my life that I'm living at this point. I am me. And I know my intention. I know that I want to be an inspiration. I know that I'm for everything that's good. I know that I am humble. I am kind. Until you piss me off. Then 50 Cent comes out. But I think that's everybody. I think everybody got a little 50 Cent in them if someone tries them.
Yes.
But otherwise, my intention is always love. And I think love is the nucleus of everything. That love is the nucleus of life and everything. Like, no matter how successful you are, it all comes back down to, do you love yourself? Do you love your family? Does your family love you? Do you have loving friends? Love. That's what we all ultimately, even our animals that we have, they love us and we love that. You know what I'm saying? So I always operate from a place of love and a place of light, because I know 100% the light always beats out darkness. You cannot fight darkness with darkness. What did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. say? One of my favorite quotes. Darkness cannot beat out darkness. Only light can do that. So in every situation, I always try to be light, and I start my day and I end my night with the words, not my will, God's will be done. And those words have served me very well for my life. It's been just even saying those words, you just give up anything negative that could even possibly come your way, because even if it does, it's God's will, and there's a lesson to learn from it.
And to add to that, I truly believe that. My parents who adopted me were deacons in a church, missionaries. They traveled around the world. My dad's a military veteran. My mother was a nurse. And the biggest thing to share is my mom always told me God doesn't make mistakes.
Nope, he does not.
And that, your free will does matter. What you choose to do, what you choose to say, and how you choose to act or react will make a difference one way or another.
That's right. And everything, I've had an incredible life, and I ask myself, wow, why me? How did I end up having this life? I grew up in a small town, in Alabama, Tuscumbia, Alabama. It was only known for the birthplace of Helen Keller. So, and NASA Space Center. Well, that's actually in Huntsville. That's not even in Tuscumbia. But to have the audacity to dream that I could get on a plane to go to New York City and pursue a modeling career, which that one choice, that one opportunity changed the entire course of my life, that's God. Because I didn't have that kind of influence or money or support to even think. I didn't know anyone that was living in New York. I didn't know anyone famous. I didn't know anyone modeling. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as the fashion industry. I didn't know anything. I just knew that there had to be something else, that there was a fire burning inside of me that made me feel like I'm bigger than where I am. Like I have to try to figure out and take advantage of every opportunity that comes my way to start this journey of wherever it is that I'm going. And that's what I did back then. And that's what I'm still doing now. So, when I got the call from Lifetime about doing the movie Cruel Instruction, I mean, honestly, it's the biggest role that I've ever had. And for the past 11 years, I've been doing reality TV. And before that, I was a model. So I've had classes, I've had coaches. I have not had as much training as, I would have liked to have had before I took on this role. But again, that's where God steps in. And the ironic thing is, I'm a huge Lifetime fan. It's one of my favorite things to do is sit at home and watch Lifetime. It's one of my favorite things to do with my mom is watch Lifetime, with my sister, even with my daughter, Noelle. And for me to have an opportunity to be a part of the Lifetime family now is honestly like a full circle moment for me, because I actually love Lifetime. So to see my own self in a movie is really pretty incredible.
When did you find, and what is the earliest memory that you can remember, Cynthia, where you completely surrendered and let go to let God?
I think it was my first season on Housewives. My marriage was already showing some red flags of being in trouble. I think when I made the decision to file for divorce and try to turn my life around just in terms of my personal life, it was very difficult for me because I felt like I was married in real life, but I was also married on TV. And, I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I, loved my husband. I wanted my marriage to work. I felt like by leaving my marriage, that was a failure for me, which, I consider myself a winner. But in my heart of hearts, I had to follow my heart. And, I just didn't have peace. And I knew that in order for me to go forward with the other things that I wanted to do with my life, to have a full life, I had to have peace. And that for me was a turning point for me, for sure, as in terms of how I wanted to move forward with my life and just taking control of my life, because I felt like at one point I didn't even have control anymore. And to be actually being on a reality show and going through something like that at the same time was incredibly difficult. And looking back, I still don't know how I did it and was okay and did it with as much love and integrity as I could have, because divorces are usually always very nasty. And I knew that, I have had and still have a lot of respect for my ex-husband. And, there'll always be some love there. So I just trusted in God, not my will, God's will be done. If I'm meant to be with this person, make it a little easier for me to be with him. And if I'm not, then let us both have enough strength to walk away from it. And we did, but it was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done, other than being in the Big Brother house.
I'm going to be honest. I've been casting to be on Big Brother, the regular Big Brother show, since 2010. I just sent in everything for Big Brother 24. I'm like, I was trying to reach out to all the casting, agents to be like, did you guys look at my reel? Like, what's going on?
Oh my God.
I'm serious.
Wow. How many times have you submitted?
Since 2010. And I just did for this season of 24. They're taking in submissions. And I'm like,
yes.
Can someone get me on there, please?
Oh my goodness. All right. I may have to send a text over to someone. Like, I don't know if the people that that I dealt with that do the celebrity one does the other one, but I'm going to send a text. I'm going to write that down. Send text to Marty. All right. I don't know if it's going to help you, but I'm going to definitely see if I could at least get you an audition.
Please.
Yeah, I was in that house for 30 days. I think I was one of the last to leave that house. I think I may have just a little bit of pull in there. They know who I am, so I think I could send over a text.
If they listen to your voice of reason or pay attention to anything of your wisdom, which they should, I will give you a big shout out live on a Big Brother set.
All right. Well, I'm rooting for you, and good luck to you. But I definitely will push that name through, and hopefully you can at least get an audition. And I'm sure you'll wow them once that happens.
Thank you for answering a prayer. With you doing that, seriously, I don't know why. I just have always felt that I should be on that show. I just don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you would be great on that show. And, it's so interesting because you obviously seem like a Big Brother fan. I wasn't a super fan. I didn't really know that much about the show. I basically thought in some small way by me being on Housewives on a reality show that it would have prepared me a little bit for Big Brother. But of course, it absolutely did not prepare me. It's two different worlds. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I also, I don't know. I thought, okay, I did watch it. Yeah, I watched the 2 celebrity seasons. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I'm still a little confused about how the backdoor thing works. And I never really knew, it was never clear to me that you could have more than one alliance. Like, I just never got that for some reason.
Yeah.
And I pretty much just went in, just being myself. And, at the end of the day, I think for the most part, just being a woman of my word, playing the game with integrity, which is not really necessarily the way to win that game. I found that out. But, and cooking and cleaning. I basically cooked and cleaned my way to to Final 3, because I think, they were like, well, we get Cynthia out of the house. Well, who's going to clean the toilets? The one toilet for 11 people.
Oh, Lord.
Trust me. I was like, I took a lot on, because I had to be comfortable. Like, I did it for the house, but I really was doing it for myself, because trust and believe, being in the house with a bunch of celebrities, there's a reason why they have assistants and housekeepers and all that stuff, because they're not that self-sufficient when it comes to the domestic life, know? So that was, so I was like, okay, I know where I can fit in here. They got to eat. And the only way we're going to get food is to make our food and cook it ourselves. And I'm sure everybody can appreciate a clean bathroom. So I was like, this is where I will be strong. I never won a competition. I never got blood on my hands. And the only thing I did win was the Mon blessing curse, which wasn't even like a competition. That was basically everyone in the house, wanting me to stay and go to the next round, which was pretty awesome. Actually, if I had to only win one thing, since I sucked at the other competitions, it made me actually feel really good that, because at that point, I think it was all 11 of us still there, that, people wanted to save me the first round going out. So that made me feel good.
See that? When you are the light and the light of someone's life and the room and that sort of embodiment, I'm sure you have this experience. It's very, I don't know if interesting is the right word, but let's just say, and I'm sure you're going to understand, Cynthia, the type of light and person who you are and what you attract everything. And with that, it's very amazing of when you have spoken to people, whether it be, on any show, CBS, on Bravo and everything. So have you ever noticed like maybe little ticks in people's faces or body language or something, because that your voice, your vibration, your reverberation is altering something, it's enlightening something, it's bringing attention and awareness. So have you found that most people have a lot of internal and external adjustments when you speak and when you don't speak? Because that's something I've always observed through the television, that you do a lot more through your energy, through, your spoken word, that there's a lot of adjustments happening. There's a lot of recalibrations happening. Do you notice this?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, now that you bring it up, I do kind of notice it. I definitely am an energy person. I definitely always try to bring good, positive energy. Even if I'm met with negative energy, I still try to be positive. I usually always try to turn it around. And if I can't turn it around, then I just kind of walk away from it. But yes, absolutely. With me in any situation, and I've been in some pretty curious situations, I'm always going to come and just bring that light and bring that good energy. And I feel like ultimately it has always been my saving grace at the end of the day. Even if I didn't feel like I won, down the road, I feel like I won. So, because sometimes, you don't you may be in a situation and you don't understand what's happening at that moment, but sometimes a win is not an obvious win. Sometimes you have, you just got to let things play out, and you're like, you know what? I actually did win. Like, I'll give you an example, and then I have to jump off because I have another interview. I was homecoming queen of my high school, the first African-American homecoming queen, with that honor. And I went to a predominantly white high school in Alabama, small town in Alabama, Tuscumbia. With that honor, I ended up competing in a homecoming queen pageant. So I go to this pageant. It was the first and only pageant that I've ever been in my life. I couldn't even afford another dress. I had to wear my same dress that, we saved money for my homecoming dress. And I remember getting in my little, I don't know what year it was, this little Volkswagen Rabbit car. And I drove to Atlanta to go to this competition with no real experience. I didn't have any talent. So I actually recited Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. And I didn't win, I didn't place or any of that stuff. But after the pageant was over, and these are some of the most beautiful, these pageant girls these girls have been doing pageants their whole life. So they were ready. And I just, honestly just did the best that I could do. But after the pageant was over, a booker from Wilhelmina Models in New York City approached me about signing with Wilhelmina in New York City, which at the time I couldn't even imagine going to New York City. I couldn't even imagine being a model. I couldn't imagine anything that she was presenting to me at the time. But I share that story to say, I was really disappointed that I didn't win or place or be a runner-up in the pageant, but I was actually the only contestant that was offered a modeling contract. So I didn't win, but I actually won in the end because I did go on almost maybe 6 or 7 months later. I did go on to move to New York and start my modeling career with Wilhelmina Models. And that started everything and pretty much put me on this phone with you now. Because once I did that, once that opportunity came to me and I took it, then everything else just kind of fell into place. So sometimes, I was, sad that I didn't win, but I was like, wait, looking back, I did win. I won. So I'll leave it right there in terms of that. But yeah, you like your mom said, God does not make any mistakes. I wasn't supposed to win the pageant. I was supposed to sign with the modeling agency and move to New York City and change the entire course of my life.
And you're going to continue to do that. And to share this real quick in honor of your 11 years with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the number 11 is a message from the angels telling you to take action and make a radical shift in your life. Having waiting too long, now is the time to realize your goals. This number is a message from your guardian angels that they are on your side. They'll be there for you no matter where you go or what you do. So I wanted to share that message with you.
I love that. Oh, can you text me that, Steven?
I will text
You have my
it.
number. I love that because everything in my heart was just, it was very difficult to walk away from Housewives in any capacity. I did think about going back as a friend, but everything said, no, not only is it time, Cynthia, it is the right time. This is the time. And I could not get that feeling out of my heart. And it really overcame that feeling, really gave me even more courage to take the leap of faith and to leave a job without another job in place. I still don't actually have a regular job yet. So I'm still just hustling right now and going from gig to gig to gig. And it's working out for me pretty well. But you know how we feel secure with just that one job, and then we can, kind of piggyback, everything else we can kind of put on top of it, the hosting and the acting. But this is the time, and it's the right time. And I love that you shared with me, season 11 was the time for me to go, number 11. So please send that to me.
I'm going to, and I'm going to tell you, you're not done with Bravo unless you truly believe you are. This is a moment for you. My heart's telling me that you're welcome. This is applause for you.
Thank you.
So with that, I know you've got to go. I will text that to you. Once again, we're both East Coast people. What we say we're going to do, we're going to do it.
That's right. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for just a really insightful interview. I've been doing press for the past 2 weeks, and I will have to say this was a pleasant surprise because I love when people do their research. And, you knew that I was from Alabama. You knew a lot. I was Pisces. Like, I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to, of course, you got to ask the obvious questions that I get all the time. But I feel like we went a little deeper. And I always appreciate that because when you take me deeper, I like to go deeper. Otherwise, it's just another surface interview of 20 more interviews I have to do today. So, thank you.
You've always got a home here on Power 98.5, and these interviews and these connections that we will continue to have will always be like this. So anything you need, anything you want, I'm always here. And anytime you want to come on, this is your home.
All right. Well, thank you so much. The best is yet to come. I have a lot of other things coming up, and I look forward to talking to you again. And we got to get you in the Big Brother house, too.
Please.
All right. I didn't forget about that. All right, Stephen. Thank you so much. God bless. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Cynthia. Cynthia Bailey Hill, everyone. Go to her Instagram, support her, and tune into her new film that is going to be debuting on Saturday, March 12th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 7 Central, Cruel Instruction. You're listening to Power 98.5 Satellite Radio, live on air with Steven Cuoco. Have a great week, everyone.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.